Hi champs, welcome back again to all of you in the another Sunday live session. We have a special guest joining us today who is a true visionary in the world of technology, innovation and STEM education. And I'm thrilled to introduce Karan Chaphekar.
Hello, hi.
So Karan Chaphekar is a passionate maker. Sir has played a crucial role in revolutionizing the world of 3D printing and STEM education. And during today's live session, Sir will share his wealth of knowledge and experience in 3D printing and STEM education. So thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And
Thank you for
over to you.
inviting me. Okay, so hi everyone who is listening and going to listen in the wards. So my name is Karan Chaphekar. I'm from Mumbai. Uh, I I've been a maker like many of you from childhood. Been interested in science competitions and a lot. But later, fortunately, my family figured out, okay, hey, this is he wants to do. I attempted myself at engineering, but it didn't work out. Honestly, I have not graduated yet, and not intend to graduate also. But don't follow my path. Get educated as much as you want. But like my journey, this important journey began with a robotic arm. So there was a competition for robotics, which is, if you know, it's called maze path following robots, which follow path and solve the maze. So our team was a national winner at that point. So um, in that process, we got a sort of internship from a company where we learned to make a robotic arm, and I found it pretty bad, honestly. And then I figured out, okay, hey, why not make our own? And this is, we are talking about 2010 2009 era. You have to understand, for context, that even Amazon was not in, and finding things were very difficult at that time. But hey, we figured out to make a robotic arm. We made a very cute robotic arm. Then some media, Marathi media, I'm Maharashtrian, so Marathi media picked it up. There was in some news articles, and how it process began is like, when we were making the robotic arm, we had a lot of difficulties. Cutting the parts and making them accurately. So we decided, hey, how can we make this automated? My answer to anything, if I'm not good at, I will find out how to automate it. So it's handled by machine, not me. So we figured out how to make a CNC machine. So CNC machine, for people who don't know, is a CNC means computer numeric control, to be precise. But what this machine did is, basically, I had a drill machine, a motor drill machine. You call Dremel, example of Dremel, and it used to cut. It used to move based on the computer commands and cut the parts up. And after we did that, then I figured out, hey, the what is this new 3D printing? This is again 2011. So at that time, in US, there was this one company called MakerBot, which company, I think so, sort of started the whole 3D printing revolution, you can say. And then we decided, hey, why can't we buy that machine? But at that time, that was very expensive for us, but 35,000 rupees or something, way too much. So we said, hey, let's make it our own. So I decided to make it my own 3D printer at that time, and I collected parts from everywhere. And the community of 3D printing at that time, and I think so, still is very supportive community. So we didn't have Reddit also at that point. We had this something called relay chat. It's a very old technology before the emails, actually. In that chat, we used to discuss all these things. And at that point, the people from Germany, actually, few of them sent me parts so I can make my own machine, because at that time nobody in India had machine. And to get a little bit of background of 3D printing, let me get into that. So you will understand how the 3D printing, my journey began. And how it affects right now in the world of makers. So what happens? 3D printing is not a new tech as such. It has been existing since 80s, if I'm correct, used by NASA and many other companies. But what happened is because of the patent by a company called Stratasys, the Stratasys company who held the patent, and as the patent expired, then there is this a group of makers, especially from London, Europe, sorry, mostly British people. Uh, uh, Famously, Adrian Boyer is the name of the gentleman who started this idea called RIPRAP. Okay, REPRAP. So RIPRAP means replicated rapid prototyping. The idea was to make a 3D printer which can make itself. That was the idea. So you make one 3D printer and try to make the parts of the 3D printer as much as 3D printed, so you can make another of them. Okay, so that was the idea behind it. It's a self-replicating machine. Then what happened after some time? If you know about 3D printing, you must have heard a name called Prusa or Prusha. Prusha is a very famous manufacturer of 3D printers right now, based out of Prague. So at that time, Prusa was a very small member of the community, and he developed this machine called Prusa Mendel. So it had 3D printed parts, and we used to make rods and own belts and motors and everything. So that was very difficult era of 3D printing at that point. So it started from that. So this riprap movement started, but the problem was a chicken and egg problem. So who will make the first 3D printer to make another 3D printer? And from that, this MakerBot company started. Now the funny irony is of capitalism is this MakerBot is acquired by Stratasys, which held the original patent, and because so it's like became a full circle in that sense. So now that company owns MakerBot, but these people were very monumental in making 3D printer popular in US. But at that point, India didn't have any 3D printers. If my knowledge, it was like one or two 3D printer, but they were commercial, not hobby made. And because of this patent lapse, this whole evolution of 3D printing began. And for a lot of time, I would say last 8 years or so, let's forget last 3 to 4 years, it was a hobby. Okay, so it was a people trying to make 3D printer because just they want to make 3D printer. The making 3D printed part was not that for main attraction, at least for myself. Like I can show you a 3D printed model. This is a tiny Groot. Okay, so this is a 3D printed. Just to get an idea what 3D printing is, 3D printer. Wait, which is okay. So if you can see this model, there are some horizontal lines on it. So how this model was made is if you see the bottom part, okay, this base. So there is a sort of something called extruder. If you know glue gun, or many people know 3D printing pen. So they extrude plastic, okay, it at very high temperature, about 200 degrees. It extrudes plastic and let it dry. It dries within few seconds actually, and we have cooling fans to make it dry faster. So when that is drawn, when that one layer is drawn solidified, we draw another layer on top, and by layer, each layer here is zero point 0.2 millimeters. Okay, you can go as low as 0.05 millimeters also. So each layer is built on top of another, and that's how it whole thing is made. And you can make these 3D models in any of CAD softwares that you use, or you can just download it. So that's how these parts were made. So the idea, right, currently what is happening in 3D printing is 3D printing is turning from a hobby to a actual tool. Okay, so it sort of started. According to me, currently right now, there is this company in China called Reality, which started making these super cheap 3D printers, and that sort of break the market in 3D printing. So that's why now everybody, you can buy a 3D printer for like 15,000 rupees. That's a lot. Like that's a lot less than what I used to make my own 3D printer by scratch. And that times 25,000. That was a huge difference now. You can buy 3D printers from Amazon very easily. And because of that, these 3D printer have come to so many hands, and because of that, there's so many 3D printing enthusiasts out there who wants to not just use it as a hobby, okay, to use it to make their projects, to run their businesses. So there are a lot of businesses which make jewelry out of 3D printing. They make customized attachment. Like I know one person who has about 30 3D printers, but he makes just one product, which is a for a laser cutter, for a laser cutter and exhaust piping system. It's just an adapter, but because that adapter is not made by anyone else, and because the design is so customized, that's why he can produce them and sell them at pretty good cost. So the idea behind 3D printing, and it's also called manufacturing 3.0 or something, is the idea behind 3D printing is you don't have to make each and every part exactly the same. Like if these headphones are getting manufactured in a factory, the mold is made from, let's say, take 10 lakh rupees to make this mold, and then you make like tens of thousands of part daily, then only you will get your cost back when you make mass manufacturing. The thing with 3D printing is this can be any color, it can be any size, it can, you can then change the shape. If you're a good 3D modeler, you can change the expressions, you can do so many things. That's the beauty of 3D printing, that if you have something in mind, it can make it in reality. So that's how 3D printing is now getting used a lot, where people are starting businesses, a small business. I've seen Instagram stores where people make photo, litho frames, then little statues for like weddings, celebrations, a lot of these gift items, memorabilia. So, and how this happened, another most recent development in 3D printing is by a company called Bamboo Labs. So Bamboo Labs is founded by some people who made DJI drones. If you know, the DJI drones are very famous now. They were actually originally, that company only used to make the control board for the drones. I also used to make drones previously. So that DJI control unit used to be the like the holy grail for drones. But now, because DJI has become big company, the engineers from that company have separated and made a company called Bamboo Studio, and they have done their all engineering magic and so much of R&D that I would say right now 3D printing in that position where you can download a 3D file, put it in software, and it will make it. No tweaking required, nothing is required. So the vision that I thought sometimes I might be able to fulfill, because when I used to make my 3D printers to selling, my idea was to make it as simple as possible. It may not be the fastest machine, it may not be the prettiest machine, but the idea was that user should have the best experience, because if the user is not going to have good experience, then he's just going to shelf that machine and just forget about it. So that was the idea. And these Bamboo Lab people have really excelled right now, and their machine are not the best in the quality, and they are the fastest. So can you imagine getting a Ferrari at the cost of an Alto? That is what is happening right now in 3D printing. So unfortunately, that machine is not available in India right now. I'm trying to my best to get my hands on one of them whenever it comes in India. But current state of 3D printing, the beauty is the technical part of 3D printing that we used to get obsessed about is becoming more of a background, and the more creativity is getting in front. So if you are making any kind of projects right now, 3D printing has become a default way of making parts for it, enclosures for your circuits and everything. That's the right now advantage of 3D printing. And so many YouTubers also, when you see this, they're making different projects. They use 3D printing so regularly, and I find it so fascinating that one thing that at one time we fought to have, and now it's easily available for everyone. It's such an amazing time that we are living in right now. So in STEM education, of course, 3D printing is important. I used to work at a job called a company called Grayson, and if you know, there is a scheme by our government called ATL, Atal Tinkering Labs. So Atal Tinkering Lab, the idea behind that project was some money is given to about 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs given to schools, and they need to acquire, they need to make a complete STEM lab in their schools. And we were one of the providers to set up this whole lab, and it had a 3D printer which was designed by mine, and made with my assistants and some few team members in manufacturing. So this Atal Tinkering Lab used to has 3D printers, then all the machine tools like your drills and soldering irons, everything. Then all the components required, different modules, Arduino boards, Raspberry Pis. It's a complete lab setup. Plus, it had different environmental kits and everything. This IoT kits, a lot of them. So it was a complete lab. I think so. If anybody must have in their school, we served mainly Ryan schools in Mumbai, actually all over India. So I was in part of training and all. So that was my previous job. So I'm seeing this lot of attention getting to STEM labs from even schools also. But speaking honestly, many schools are just using it as an advertisement for themselves. They are not sometimes utilizing it completely, which is sad thing. It is really sad in terms of like people like you and me and other people. We have to learn our own engineering, which is not getting taught at school level or college level at all. That was my biggest disappointment when I got enrolled in engineering. That I'm not getting to learn anything that I want to learn, and everything then I had to figure out how to learn. And it's true with, I think so, all engineers who are getting these big packages and stuff, these all are self-learned on some level. There are a few good IITs, of course. IITs and some NITs are good, but most of them have to struggle. So if you have any, if you want to do anything in life in engineering, I think so, self-learning and buying your own stuff in terms of like, don't depend on schools or colleges. Get your own kits, own stuff. Amazon and a lot of stores are available, so you can, you should start making your own projects in that sense. Instructable.com, if you don't know, it's a very good resource to get a lot of projects ideas. Start making your own things. So that is, I would, for the main thing is like start tinkering. That's very important, because unless you like, I'm also now currently got into app development. So you can read and watch tutorials endlessly, but unless you start doing something, you won't understand how it works, what are the practicalities. And then if you want a job or if you want to start a startup or anything, it is you who are going to lead the whole process. It's there is no hand holding. And right now, because of the conveyance of AI, even in programming also, a lot of this busy work is going to uh, uh, dheere dheere is going to just go off and become automated. So the human creativity is what we have left right now, and that's something we should focus on. I think so. Some questions, Ankit, you have, if you want, what topics I want to you want me to talk about, it will be great.
Yeah, so I have some question. The first question is from where you got this idea about the 3D printer? What was the
Okay,
source?
so it was, so I was like I was a kid of internet, so internet was very new when we started. It was just random browsing. I have very simple brain in that sense. I just make things which are cool to me. There is no big vision behind it. Okay, I just make it. If I find it cool, let's make it. So when I saw 3D printing, hey, this is a cool tech. How can I get it? At that time, buying was the only option, and that was out of the question, because importing from US, oh my god, it's such a hassle, and our customs department is a different kind of hell deal with. I have dealt with them before so many times, because when I was making manufacturing my own 3D printers, I had to get parts from China, because there's no one in India. Honestly, India doesn't have any that kind of manufacturing per se. We just resell stuff from China. Let's be clear about it. And like especially when it comes to motors and some electronic stuff. So the idea was just, I saw 3D printing, hey, this is a cool tech, I want to make it. Then I figured out, hey, how to. So I see, look at people are making it, they are not buying it. So how can they make it? What parts are required? What is required? And then I found the community, as I said, a relay chat that was there. I just asked people, hey, what is this? What is that? How? Then they have some forums written about it, how to. There are some Wikipedia pages, like like fan wikis, not from the main Wikipedia. So they made these kind of sorry documentation available. Just gone through it. Okay, this part are required. What can I find in India? What can I find in this center, that center? I actually forced one company in Bangalore called Rido Labs to import me these special chips which are required for motor driving. And since then they started stocking them also. So it was just like, I want to make it, let's see how can we make it. Is that simple. Like, it's just cool tech, I want to make it. Like, I think like that. If I see a cool tech, if I can't buy it, then I think how can I make it generally. Or if it's available to buy, then it's better, let's try making it. Like, I have a dog, so I want to make a device where it's a food feeder, and there is a button at this other side, so he can go, so she can go and press the button, the food dispense is there, and she runs there again, press the button, so it can keep her busy. So this toy exists in USA, but it will be insanely stupid me to buy it. So what I'm planning to do, I just bought some stuff from Amazon, programming it very soon, and that will be another project. And again, 3D printing works there because I can make basically a treat dispenser at my home. So it's so easy. And nowadays I try to make things instead of making everything from scratch. My idea nowadays is how can I use existing things to make it. Like, I have a RC car which I bought from a dog only, but now she's afraid of it. So I'm using the same RC and receiver to make this project. So these things, I like to make it that way. Whenever, if it's cool, if I want to make it, I make it. So idea of 3D printing was not that of a huge revelation or huge idea that, hey, I will found this company and I will this and that. No, it was just fun. And still, unless it's not fun, why would you do that? Like, then it becomes a job and it's not fun anymore.
Okay. The next one is I was watching one of your news media video where you were
Yeah.
telling about the bomb diffusion robot project. So can you
Yeah.
tell us more about
Yeah.
that?
So okay, I will be honest, that was a media thing. Okay. Because the thing I made, the robotic arm I mentioned, that was the robotic arm they were discussing. Okay. And then they did their Google research and they figure out कि hey, robotic arms कहाँ पे use होते हैं, bomb diffusers. That was a catchy headline for them. And they put that in that and tell you, oh, can it be used for that, used for that. So I said, of course it can be, but it will need a lot of work before doing that. Nowadays, if you want to talk bomb about DRDO, our defense research organization, make these kind of robots, this kind of robot. But the idea behind these robots is to make them foolproof, very robust, and even your soldiers and water police officers can operate it. So that's how the means the fundamentals are the same. What I'm trying to say, they are not different because they are not the robots which are used in your factories or the KUKA robots or the robotic assembly. Those are a completely different level. You don't need that much of accuracy and level when it comes to bomb diffuser robot. The idea behind bomb diffuser robot is it's just a dumb robot. It's just a dumb robot that will go and pick up stuff. If it explodes, it destroys, but the human life is saved. It's simple as that. So uh, uh, the fundamentals were the same. We use servo motors to make that large servo motors. I think so nowadays you can get digital servo motors, and yeah. And at that time, I learned the concept of inverse kinematics, which we got taught like 2 3 years later in college. But it was a fun project. So that was a bomb diffusal robot that was shown in media at such at that point. Yeah,
Oh, sorry, sir, I lost my connection.
yeah. So I answered
Am I
that one
audible?
question. Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So my last question is your message to the young minds
Yeah.
who is passionate for this maker community and all this stuff.
Ooh, what should I say? Okay, I think so. First of all, because of my age right now, I'm out of touch of what young people are doing right now. But I used to mentor another kid. He is now in 12. But s- the if you have passion to do things, okay, passion is a very overrated word. Honestly speaking, passion can get you so far. Okay, after passion, it all discipline. Okay, so I will give you my example. When I started making 3D printers, okay, for selling to people. It was fun at start when I was designing it, when I was perfecting it, making documentation for it. But when it comes to selling it, when it comes to supporting it, it became a hassle. It became a job. Okay, so in that sense, it's a multifaceted problem. Okay, so first thing is, if you have passionate about it, if you're really passionate about it, I will tell you simply that you will forget what hunger and thirst is, what is sleep. Like, then you will know you're passionate about it. Okay, if you're working on a project, you don't know what time of day it is, then you're really passionate about it. If you find something in that life, it may be STEM, not STEM, 3D printing, doesn't matter, whatever, music. If you find that, stick to it. It will help you in long run. Currently, our education system, our whole job structure, because of the AI and all these kind of things, is going to change so much that the people who are right now young in school, the future is pretty uncertain in that sense. So what you can hope for is mastery. Okay, like, get mastery at one thing, and see that if you can follow through. After you have mastered your whatever skill it is, let's say, consider you have a good education in STEM. Now, how you market yourself, how you put in front of people, because it's all about jazz right now. It's all about the showbazi. It's about how you present yourself, and but how to find little bit of genuineness inside it. So, like, how can I explain? Like, you can see a clickbaity YouTuber, and you can see a YouTuber who's using clickbait but giving you good information at the end. He's not saying, "Hey, stick to the end of the video till I will tell you this secret shit." No, sorry, I cursed. But that is the thing. Like, if you take someone like Linus Tech Tips, he used clickbait videos, but he gives you good knowledge. Okay, so be that kind of a person. You attract attract people with whatever charm, whatever marketing, whatever trending happening, but give them good product, good ideas, good service, whatever you have to offer. And another is, start learning about money. Okay, because this is not taught in school. Honestly, it is so mind-boggling how to save money, how to plan money. Saving is not FDA anymore. Okay, it's way more than that. Not get into scams, like scams of gambling or whatever is going on right now with Dream 11 and everything. God knows, but be wary about money. So first of all, skill, then market yourself, and how to manage the business. And honestly, once you get older, once you have friends, and if you have family who you trust, just outsource it. Honestly, I will tell you, my wife he handles the business side of the things. Okay, she gets the client, I do the job. We have a simple separation. Okay, she's good at communicating, she's good at marketing, she's good at that, she handles that. I handle the execution. Nowadays I work in mostly video editing, web development, and these animations and special effects kind of projects. I don't deal with client, they don't even know I exist. It is her face which goes in front. So find someone that if you can, if your friend or family, who will help you in marketing. Or if you are a good marketer yourself, well and good, you can serve yourself, or you can serve someone other. Because all this is always happens in any business. There is always a Steve Jobs, there is always a Wozniak, there is always a person who know business and know technology. Generally both person in same person, like both personalities same person, is super rare, and that person is going to stretch themselves thin. So I would say, like, that's my main thing. Like, right now, your creativity is your main, how can I say, main trump card you have nowadays, because it's everything is getting automated. What you are going to do, and I cannot stress this enough. Learn coding, start something, start coding. It's so important, because I started super late in life regarding coding, because I was a purely hardware guy. I did coding for Arduino, C++, that's it. But now I realize how much I missed on the coding front when I'm doing the app development and everything. There's so many AI tools to do your code and all, but yeah, start learning that. It's going to be very useful, because there's so many people with business ideas, but they have no clue how to implement it. Be that person to implement it. It's See, being a service industry is not a bad thing. Okay, so if someone wants to start an Instagram business, if they want to set up a shop, a Shopify, do that for them. If some, always find maybe other startups who wants to make product or something, help them making the product. Be genuine about it. And again, it comes back to my second point, is the communication and marketing. That has becoming a more and more important thing. But don't go into clickbaity stuff. Be genuine. Be genuine helps a lot. I have been very lucky in my life, honestly tell you. Lot of things, it's not even privilege, it's just luck. Okay, I've been come from very like whatever middle class family, like no car but have your own house kind of a middle class family I came from. And it just like I always got good people around me, and I just been good to them, and that's it. It was that simple, honestly. So just again, find your passion, find how you market it, and understand the business part. These are the three things. Again, understanding the business part is very important if you want to job also, because see, that company or the job creator is not serving you, it's serving the company. Okay, it's in their agenda to serve the company, not you. So you have to be aware of yourself, what is happening. Okay, and not go in this flow of creativity and just provide them endlessly without because you love it doing it now, because you love helping people, if you love finding solutions to the problem. And that's why understanding business is important, and money management, so people don't take advantage of you.
Okay. So thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening session. And we are truly fortunate to have learned from someone
Thank
as
you.
passionate and knowledgeable as you. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you.